The United Kingdom is not just a country, it is an entire storybook, layered with chapters of conquest, invention, empire, rebellion, and reinvention. Few nations have influenced the world as profoundly as this one. Once, it commanded the largest empire in human history, its flag flying on every continent, its language spreading to nearly every corner of the globe. Today, it is smaller, humbler perhaps, yet still one of the most fascinating places on earth, a land where medieval castles rise above modern skyscrapers, where football stadiums roar as loudly as royal ceremonies, and where every valley, coast, and cobblestone street whispers a story of the past. The very geography of the United Kingdom already tells us something about its character. Perched at the edge of Europe, yet separated by seas, it has always been both connected to and apart from the continent. The English Channel, narrow enough to cross in a few hours, has historically acted as both a shield and a doorway. The North Sea, stormy and cold, linked the island to Scandinavia and beyond, while the Atlantic sent ships westward to the Americas. The country itself is a patchwork, England at the center, Scotland crowned by wild highlands, Wales with its green valleys and rugged coasts, and Northern Ireland with its mix of Celtic legend and complex modern history. But the United Kingdom stretches far beyond its home isles. Scattered across the world are its crown dependencies and overseas territories, relics of empire but still tied to the crown. Gibraltar guards the entrance to the Mediterranean, its monkeys famous as the only wild primates in Europe. In the Caribbean, Anguilla, the Cayman Islands, and the Turks and Caicos boast turquoise waters and colonial echoes. In the South Atlantic, the Falkland Islands stand windswept and contested, while further south lie South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, lands of glaciers and penguin colonies. Few realize that the UK's territories even extend into the icy wilderness of Antarctica. Domestically, the political structure is as intricate as an old tapestry. England, though the largest part, curiously has no parliament of its own, being directly governed from Westminster. Scotland has Holyrood in Edinburgh, a parliament that debates fiercely about independence. Wales has its Senedd in Cardiff, pushing for more recognition of the Welsh language and culture. Northern Ireland's assembly in Stormont rises and falls with fragile agreements, shaped by a history of division and reconciliation. Even the City of London, a square mile at the capital's heart, has its own ancient governing body, with traditions dating back to medieval guilds. London itself is a universe in miniature. Nearly 9 million people call it home, speaking over 300 languages. Walk its streets and you'll find Roman walls beside modern glass towers, royal palaces near punk rock clubs, and Victorian pubs around the corner from Bangladeshi curry houses. Its landmarks are icons recognized worldwide, the Tower of London with its ravens and crown jewels, Big Ben chiming over the Thames, Buckingham Palace with its famous guards in scarlet uniforms. Yet London is also a city of hidden corners, bookshops under railway arches, street markets selling food from every continent, canals where narrowboats still glide past painted bridges. Beyond London, Britain's regions shine with their own character. Manchester, the birthplace of both the Industrial Revolution and some of the world's most famous bands, wears its working-class pride like a badge. Liverpool gave the world the Beatles, but it was also one of the empire's busiest ports. Birmingham grew from factories into a multicultural hub, while Edinburgh, with its castle perched on volcanic rock, hosts the world's largest arts festival each summer. Cardiff, with its stadiums and waterfront, embodies the spirit of modern Wales, while Belfast carries stories of shipyards, troubles, and rebirth. The monarchy, though stripped of real power, still fascinates the world. Coronations, weddings, and royal tours draw global audiences in the millions. Windsor Castle, the world's oldest and largest inhabited castle, still houses the sovereign. Some see the royal family as a living relic, others as a vital symbol of continuity in turbulent times. Either way, it remains a uniquely British contradiction, a democracy with a crown at its heart. The history that led to all this is a saga of invasion, resistance, and reinvention. Prehistoric people left mysterious monuments like Stonehenge, whose purpose still sparks debate. The Romans brought roads, baths, and Hadrian's Wall to guard against northern tribes. After they withdrew, waves of invaders reshaped the land: Angles, Saxons, and Jutes from the continent, Vikings from Scandinavia, who founded cities like York, and Normans from France, who in 1066 imposed castles, cathedrals, and a new ruling class. Medieval England was a land of knights and barons, but also of law and parliament. The Magna Carta, sealed in 1215, limited royal power and sowed seeds of democracy. Later centuries saw kings clash with parliaments, the English Civil War, and the eventual establishment of constitutional monarchy. Meanwhile, Scotland and England, once fierce rivals, united in 1707, followed later by Ireland. Out of these unions, the United Kingdom was born. Empire was Britain's boldest and most controversial chapter. From India to Africa, from Australia to the Caribbean, British ships carried goods, soldiers, and settlers across the seas. English became the global lingua franca, railways and parliaments were exported abroad, and scientific discoveries transformed the modern world. Yet empire also brought exploitation, wars, and the brutal legacy of slavery. The echoes of that history still shape the UK's multicultural identity today. The Industrial Revolution, born in towns like Manchester and Birmingham, changed everything. Coal mines, steel mills, and railroads made Britain the workshop of the world. Steam engines powered ships that connected the empire, while telegraphs sent messages across oceans. Urban life exploded, with rows of terraced houses, soot-filled skies, and bustling factories. This was the age of Charles Dickens, who wrote vividly of both the struggles and hopes of ordinary people. In the 20th century, Britain faced two world wars that tested its spirit. London endured the Blitz, cities were scarred, but the people stood resilient. Winston Churchill's defiance became legendary. After victory, however, came decolonization, as colonies sought independence. India, the jewel of the empire, broke away in 1947, followed by dozens more nations. By the century's end, the empire was gone, but the Commonwealth remained, a network of countries linked by history, culture, and language. Today, the UK balances its traditions with modern challenges. Brexit reshaped its relationship with Europe. Scotland debates independence. Northern Ireland continues to navigate peace after decades of conflict. And yet, in spite of its divisions, the country continues to play an outsized role in global culture, finance, and diplomacy. The landscapes of the UK are as varied as its history. Snowdonia's peaks rise in Wales, while the Lake District's serene waters inspired poets like Wordsworth. The Scottish Highlands, with their misty lochs and glens, carry legends of clans and battles. The white cliffs of Dover face Europe, a symbol of resilience. In Northern Ireland, the Giant's Causeway's hexagonal stones tell a myth of giants striding across the sea. Even the weather, often grey and rainy, is part of the national identity, perfect for the invention of afternoon tea. And then there's the food. Though once mocked, British cuisine has found new pride. A full English breakfast, with eggs, bacon, sausages, beans, and toast, is a feast to start the day. Sunday roasts with Yorkshire pudding bring families together. Fish and chips wrapped in paper remain a seaside classic. And the crown jewel of cultural blending, chicken tikka masala, born of Indian spice and British taste, declared by many to be the true national dish. Culture thrives everywhere. The UK gave the world Shakespeare, whose plays still dominate theatres worldwide, the King James Bible, one of the most influential texts ever written, and iconic literature from Jane Austen to J.K. Rowling. Its music has shaped generations: the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Queen, David Bowie, Adele. Football is a religion, with clubs like Manchester United and Liverpool worshipped by millions. Comedy thrives in dry wit and satire, from Monty Python to modern television. And festivals, from Glastonbury to Notting Hill Carnival, celebrate everything from music to multiculturalism. Quirks and eccentricities abound. Britons drive on the left, measure weight in stones, and temperature in Celsius. Power outlets have switches, and tea is practically a sacred ritual. Accents change dramatically over just a few miles. Liverpool's scouse is worlds apart from London's Cockney, or the rolling tones of the Scottish Highlands. Humor leans self-deprecating, irony-rich, and often baffling to outsiders. Even wildlife plays its part in the national story. Red squirrels cling on in Scotland, while foxes roam city streets at night. The hedgehog is a beloved garden visitor, and seabirds like puffins nest on coastal cliffs. In overseas territories, penguins march on Falkland beaches, iguanas bask in the Caribbean sun, and albatrosses soar above South Georgia. And through it all, the people themselves carry the soul of the UK. Nearly 70 million strong, they are not one culture but many. Descendants of Celts, Saxons, Normans, and Vikings live alongside communities from India, Pakistan, Jamaica, Nigeria, Poland, and beyond. Together they form a society that is both deeply traditional and vividly diverse. The United Kingdom is not a simple country, it is a kaleidoscope of history, culture, landscapes, and contradictions. A land where ancient stone circles meet space-age science, where a pint at the local pub carries as much weight as a debate in Parliament, and where the past is never forgotten but constantly reimagined. It is, in the truest sense, a nation of stories, and its greatest story is still being written.